following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We've got the best of the best with us, Mr. Larry D. Dodson, original lead singer of the Bar-Kays. Hey, my friend, how you doing?
I'm well, Cam. How are you, my
I'm
friend?
doing excellent, excellent. In looking at your story, 5 decades, no way.
I've been around the block once or twice, huh? I've been really, really fortunate, Cam, to have had. Matter of fact, we've had a hit in 5 decades, man. We've had hit
Wow,
records in 5 decades. Not many acts can say that. So I wave a flag on that one. I don't usually toot
absolutely.
my own horn.
Let's
Yeah.
do this. Let's start talking about how did you enter into this music business?
Let's go back. Let's rewind to my high school days. I started a group called the Tim Prees
Hmm.
in high school, who actually it was my idea, and we were doo-woppers, emulating the Temptations, and we got to be real big in Memphis, but never did anything professionally. My professional career started when I was asked to be the only singer the band has ever had in the Bar-Kays in 1970. That
Hmm.
was 30 albums ago, Cam.
Wow. Wow.
Uh, they were, and I might I say that the Bar-Kays were in high school were high school prodigies, man. Their very first record recorded on Stax Record was a million seller. It was called Soul Finger,
Mm.
one of the most iconic instrumentals of all time. So they were very, very fortunate. I never had an inkling they were ever going to get a singer, but I was asked to join in 1970, and as I said, that was 30 albums in a career that's giving us 20 top 10 records, Cam. 20
Can
top 10 albums.
can you just think in looking at the world today and then noticing from back then just the hours of work, just doing, because the choreography, the fashion, just the life at that time is so much different now.
Oh man, it's apples and oranges, man. I
Hmm.
mean, back then, as I said, man, we started the career at Stax Records, home of Isaac Hayes, Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Johnny Taylor, Rufus and Carla Thomas,
Right.
and the band goes on, the beat plays on, and
Yes.
we had such an incredible college of music to be a part of, and we played on Isaac Hayes' first 5 albums, which did include Shaft.
Yeah.
Black Boats to be continued, and all of the music, most of it that was on Stax Records, we were the music behind it.
Wow. Just looking at that. You're also a co-founder of the Right Now Records, but you have your own label at this point. You, your wife, and your son. Let's just tiptoe on that a little bit, and let's talk about
Okay.
the fact that you're now independent. You were on a
Yes.
label for a long period of time. Talking to us about the difference of that label and the times now. The times.
You know what, Ken, we talked a little bit about this off camera and touched on a little bit about the difference between being an independent label. First of all, we can call our own shots. We can put music out as quickly as we want to.
Hmm.
Of course, that comes with the price. We gave Stax Records 7 albums. We gave Mercury Polygram Records just a plethora of hit platinum and gold records during our tenure there. But I wouldn't trade anything for independence.
Hmm.
James and I started Right Now Records in 2003 here in Memphis, Tennessee. We were trying to rebuild what Stax left behind, and we did a pretty good job at that. But I took fast forward a little bit, Cam. So in 2017, after all the success I'd had with the Bar-Kays, I actually took a vacation. I'm gonna call it a vacation. It was called a retirement then.
Right.
A real bad idea, might I say. Nothing wrong. I wasn't mad at anybody, but I've been married to a wonderful woman for 51 years,
Wow.
and we had just said, after having success and we were financially okay, why don't we just stop?
Yeah.
and travel the world and look after our daughter who's Down syndrome
Mm-hmm.
and just have a great fourth quarter in life.
Yes. Yes.
Not,
Yes.
but that didn't work though. That
Yeah.
didn't work. That didn't work. That was short lived. But here's the good part. So the
Uh-huh.
good part is I started a new label with my son and my wife. It's called Music Moves Records.
Uh-huh.
I was so very blessed to my first solo artist record
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't go back to the barcades. I let the kids stay there, and I said I still have the ownership of the barcades. So I embarked on my solo career. Had a top 30 record on Billboard, and as of 1 week or 2 weeks from now, I'll have a new record.
Yes.
I'm good with my first record. We talked about that one. I think you
Yes.
like that one, right?
Uh-huh. I do. I
Yeah,
love
it
it.
was a
Mm-hmm.
great record. Went top 30. So now I got a new release. It's called Just We. It's a very romantic ballad. But life is good, man. Life
Yeah.
is good. And I've been blessed to not giving away my publishing and all
Mm-hmm.
the things that have helped me to sustain in these COVID times.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're talking about that. As we're looking at your life of the 5 decades, right? And we're going back to
Sure.
the Barcades and just all the touring and everything you guys have done. The work ethic was there. The work ethic, the choreography, the fashion, everything had to be on point. Let's talk about why that was so important then as well as now. Why is that so important?
Well, this business is called show business, Cam.
Yes.
There's no business like show business. And so we were always mentored, and I had the privilege of being produced and managed by a guy who was we call him the idol maker. His name was Alan Jones. He
Mm-hmm.
was over A&R at Stax when we first met. He was he was a bass player, a musician, and he was also a very good producer. And the point I'm getting to is he instilled in us the importance of having a good stage show. So even when your records don't support you, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be able to get out there. And we were outlandish, man. We were trendsetters in fashion.
Yes.
Our stage antics were just incredible. Fire, smoke, bombs, big
Yes.
production. I used the snake in the act. It was just no telling what you were gonna get
Right.
other than a good show when you went to see the
Yes.
barcade. But you can't
Mm-hmm.
sit on the front row because anything subject to happen.
Yes.
So that has helped us. It
Uh-huh.
has helped us to sustain throughout the years. And I say to all my young colleagues now coming up, it's here's something from OG Uncle Larry, man. When you write the song, pen hard, and write songs and think about generational wealth for your family and your kids, and don't think about being the flavor of the day. We make money off of records we did 40 years ago, Cam,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
say that honestly, and thank God for it.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're talking about the business side. 10% music, creativity, all of that's 10%. There's 90% of the business we lose out on as a people, probably so many at this point. And we saw that so clearly during COVID that people were living check to check, but the end of February, beginning of March, everything was being shut down. So all tours, everybody's concerts, everything was being shut down. But the publishing, the royalties, your
Mm.
credits, all of those are sustaining some when so many it couldn't have sustained because they did not have those. Let's talk about that, what that meant.
Well, reaching back to a conversation we had just a few minutes ago, in our career, we were surrounded by good attorneys, people who cared about us. They didn't let us sign away our royalties, our writers' royalties, publishing royalties, and publishing rights, and they got us our songs put in movies like Head of State, Spies Like Us, Super Bad, um, and just a host of other
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really good films. Breaking, which was just an incredible uh, uh, film. But I'm just saying that we've been able to keep a cash flow and keep a revenue stream, a good one, some
Uh-huh.
good ones, might I
Mm-hmm.
say, in
Mm-hmm.
these COVID times. And I just thank God for it, man, for the awareness and for the intuition of our managers and stuff who kept us surrounded by. And that's not to say we didn't sign a bad contract here and there, but for the most part, we've had a good career,
Right.
and it's kept us pretty wealthy. and able to just sustain, man. We've been
Mm-hmm.
really smart, really
Mm-hmm.
smart.
The other thing too I love about the Barcades, you all as a group, when you saw one, you saw all, you know? When you saw when you gave the concert, it was from one person could have been in the crowd to millions in the crowd and everybody have the same concert. Why so?
Well, it was always put into us and instilled into our DNA. My manager and producer said, I don't care how big the audience is, you find you one somebody to look at and make them smile. And that'll take you through those concerts where there aren't so many people. But
Right.
the one person gets the same thing that the 10,000 get. You get a great
Mm-hmm.
show from us. And
Mm-hmm.
that was something I'm so glad, man, that no matter how bad boys we were, and sometimes we got to be pretty bad guys. We weren't peaches and cream all the time, but
Uh-huh.
we always got rest so we could be on stage and give our audiences 100%. Because we hung out with guys like Rick James and George Clinton
Right.
and all these other funketeers, man, who had some kind of bad habits every now and then. I won't name them, but they are all friends of mine. My dear friend Charlie Wilson, who he and I are still very good friends, man. When I went on my solo career, he called me and said, he said, I tell you what, when I left the Gap Band and went on to be Charlie Wilson and embarked on my solo career, I never knew it was going to be like starting over again, even with my history. He said, but if anybody can do it, you can do it. And he's been absolutely right to this point, Cam. I've been really blessed, man. I'm on a good roll now.
Yeah, you do. You're doing very good, very good. Like we were saying about the publishing, and you embarked on that. I'm glad you did. And talking to especially young people about this now, they're
Sure.
coming up. And many times that because they're independent, they've got to understand that they've got to get representation. They need some help
Yeah,
sometime in reading the contracts, right? They need some help from
absolutely.
sometimes in just showing themselves, making themselves timeless. Because after 5 decades, you can't just be here. You have to be timeless, and that's what the Barcades music is. And Larry, yours, just your voice itself is just timeless.
I appreciate that, and I received that, Cam. And there's another aspect of this business. We as a family have been very, very smart. We started a booking agency in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
We now have one of the premier booking agencies in the country. It's called La Marie's Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
We most recently got into the liquor business.
Mm-hmm.
I went on to be a minority owner 3 years ago in a great black-owned whiskey called Guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting ready to embark on another family liquor business. So we I wrote my book in 2017. It's called And the Band Plays On. And for those of you who don't have it, please get this juicy
Yes.
book because I talk way too much in it. I told everything, but it's a great book. It's all about my life, not a lot of stuff about other people's lives, but it's a backstage as to all the wonderful things that have happened inside my career, pre Barcades and even post Barcades, because I wrote it in real time, even when I left. And so it's a great read, man. It's a book, good read, but it's all the wonderful stories. And now I'm on radio.
Yes.
In January, I was asked to be on a new radio station here, 104.1 FM, 1240 AM. And you know what, Cam? I didn't really think I was going to like that, but it has taken my heart, man. I love radio.
Let's
I
talk
never thought
about
I would do
that.
that.
Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah.
your show.
It's great. I come on Saturday mornings and I do my own playlist. It's called the Larry D Show, and I do classic R. I play classic R&B, and I play new music. So I have to kind of keep up with these kids now, trying to see what's going on in that radio world.
Right.
But it's
Uh-huh.
great. I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I'm working on my second book because among the other things that we do, we are very, very instrumental in helping HBCUs.
Right.
We support Lemoyne Owen College here in Memphis, which is an HBCU. Each year for the last 12 years, we sent between 3 and 5 kids to college every
Wow.
year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
advocates of Down syndrome, because my daughter, she'll be 50 years old on September 8th.
Whoa.
diagnosed not to live past her teens.
Yes.
Doctors say no, but God says yes. You hear me,
Yes.
Cam?
Yes.
So my wife and my son and I, we are advocates of Down syndrome, and you'd be surprised how many singers, actors have Down syndrome. Sons, daughters,
Right.
uncles, aunts, mothers, fathers,
Hmm.
and it's not talked about enough. But we know that it's a very special something for us.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that about the advocacy that you guys do because you've been doing it for years, being on
Absolutely.
the forefront of it. I've seen you on there. I've seen you really, really champion for that cause for Down syndrome. And I'm so glad 50 years later, my God.
50 years later, and like as I mentioned before, my wife and I on September the 21st, we will have been married 51 years, man.
Wow.
So, I'm in dream world, man. This fourth quarter of my life, it just couldn't be any better. I have a wonderful family. I'm a family first guy. We all love the Lord, and we put Him first in all that we do. And I say that to say for all of you folks out there who want to know the real deal on Larry D, man, just read my book and get to understand who I am and whose I am. Okay, Carol?
Absolutely. Let's talk about some things that are in the book, starting with the first part of it, just about your childhood. Why so? And we were talking about the music itself, but there's a little bit backstage about your childhood. Let's talk about that.
I was an average Joe, I always wanted to sing, Karen washing dishes, singing, and my dad and mom say, please close the door. We can't hear the TV.
Right.
But it led me to start the group, the Temprees. And let me just tell you, after I joined the Barcades in 1970, the Temprees came to Stax Records, and they had a plethora of hits dedicated to the one I love, Maze, Boy and Girl. I'm going to have a great career. So, as God would have it, we all ended up on a good end. Man, to walk on Bill Street and see a note of the Barcades. We've been inducted into the R&B Hall of Fame,
Yes.
the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. There are garments of ours in Smithsonian. I have a street named after me here in Memphis.
How does that?
Uh,
Wait a minute. Let's
what
stop.
more can I ask for?
Let's stop. When you drive on your own street.
Look, two blocks away, man. So whenever I have guests in town, I say, "Wait, I'm gonna take it somewhere," and I always take them up the street. I said, "That's my street, man. That's
Oh
all
my
right, ain't it?
God.
For a
That is
boy from the hood."
Yeah, exactly. That is so neat to even see that. The other thing is, we were talking about some great moments in your book. So we started with before. Now you're in the Barcades. Now you all are touring as young adults, right? We need to talk
Yeah,
about how young you were touring. You all are touring together young.
you better know it. I joined the Barcades. I was 20 years old,
Yes,
making $75 a week.
a whole week.
Uh, a week. You give me a week. And you know what? Basically, I'm gonna tell you all. I'm glad we had good people around us because we just wanted to work. Life got real good for us. We had a good tenure at Stax Records, and then Stax closed in 1975. George Clinton took us on a tour in 1976 that he let us co-star. Cameo opened up, and we signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Mercury Records. And after that, it was
Wow.
life was good, and we were fortunate to have a lot of gold and platinum records one behind another. But travel, can I ask you a question? We traveled at a young age, and not all didn't make all the good decisions,
Uh-huh.
but we didn't make all the bad ones as well, Cam. I'm so glad, man, that because I was married during the time, and a couple of us were married, and that's kept me grounded. And I didn't do all the bad things,
Yeah.
that we often get into. Did my share of them though. As I speak about and I talk about it in my book, but it turns into ministry when you go through the peaks and valleys of your career and you come out on top. For those who are reading, it may be a little revealing to them that why in the world would you say that, talk that openly about yourself? Because it helps somebody when they understand, well, Uncle Larry
Right.
did this, but he got through it.
Right.
And look at him now. Look at him on
Absolutely.
the other side. It's the other side. And all we got is us, Cam. We
That's
have
it.
to we have to give testimony. The first four letters, TEST. You pass the test, therefore you can give good testimonies.
Absolutely. We'll do this. Let's take a break on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Amazing things for you.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $369 a month, or the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for only $509 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
When you shop Ron Carter, Cadillac.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we're back with Mr. Larry Dodson. Larry, let's pick up right where we left off about your book. We had gone into you guys being so young, parents now, and they weren't on the road with you all. You all were just young, going along your way. You were married, other people were married. You made a few mistakes, no problem, but then you keep going. We have to talk to young people now about how it is that they can be longevity, timeless, right?
Right, absolutely right.
Because what they're doing now will, go into what their children will see, grandchildren will see them as, and them, along the way.
We talked about it a minute ago, Cam. As I said, I was very young being on the road, but we were lucky to have good music with us on the road,
Right.
And even when we didn't have, even before the hits came, we had a great stage show, man. We were
Yes.
outlandish, and
Mm-hmm.
but the music helped us. Having good people around us helped us, and as I said, being married kept me grounded, and as I said, man, life was really pretty good. But in my book, I also talk about all the people along the way who have helped us and inspired. Tom Joyner, George Clinton,
Right.
Marley
Mm-hmm.
Wilson, my dear friends, Rick James,
Mm-hmm.
all the acquaintances that I met, and really Sly Stone, all of, and these were iconic figures, man.
Right.
That helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote with me, and we did songs together, made music together, toured together, and man, you don't know what it was. When I talk about in my book, I mentioned the tour that started us. We toured with George Clinton in 1976. We did 90 days with him.
Wow.
All of them were sold out. This was the mothership tour,
Right.
where the mothership landed on
Yes.
stage, man.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, it was like every night, just every night we knew, playing to a sold out audience every night, 90 days. It
In
took
the
us months to do it.
70s. In the
In
70s,
the
sold,
70s,
it sold
come on,
out.
70s
Yes.
sold out. So I mean, that those took us on through some very, very good years, and we gave Mercury Polygram a great deal of our career, and it's paid off. You know, it's really
Yeah.
paid off. As I said, we gave during the time we gave them 5 gold albums, a platinum album, 20 top 10 records, 20 top 10 albums during our tenure there.
Yes. I want people to know that you all came through a time right after segregation, too. Segregation had
Yes.
happened, you know, people still there's still unrest between African Americans and Caucasians. There's still a little unrest because you all are traveling and touring and you all see that along the way, but you still gave a good show. You've had some racism come through there, of course.
Yes.
A lot. Let's talk about how you all dealt with that because you had that. You had to have had it.
You better know it. And you know, going rewinding back to the days of Stax in the early 70s.
Yeah.
So Memphis, Tennessee, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, been there all my life. This was the city that Martin Luther King lost his life.
Yes.
I remember being locked up in Stax Records under martial law. We couldn't travel in the streets.
Right.
And if the sessions carried on past 6 o'clock, there was a 6 o'clock curfew, so we couldn't go out. So consequently, we'd have to stay there. But you know what? Here's something that maybe people don't know. The Barcades were always an interracial group. The old group, the original Barcades that did Soul Finger, had a white keyboard player. The Barcades lost their lives in the plane crash that took Otis Redding's life because we were the backup band for Otis.
Right.
It reformed and had another white keyboard player. So my point is, I come from an era where Booker T and MGs, interracial group, the Memphis Horns, interracial group. You know, outside of the walls of Stax was a lot of segregation, a lot of bad things. But inside of the walls of Stax, where we were making music, we didn't feel that. I can honestly say that's why we made such good music, man. It was wholesome stuff. We didn't care who was white or black. I mean, of course, yeah, you know, being a black guy, you know, you do.
Yeah.
But not to that degree. It didn't affect our music.
I wanted people to know that outside the music, you all still had to deal with that on a daily basis coming outside of that, you know?
Sure, we did. We couldn't drink out of water fountains, man.
Right.
You know, we are the white, colored. I'm 70 years old, so I remember all those turbulent times. I remember trying to stay on the road and going and having to play in Detroit, and you couldn't go into the city because the riots were going on.
Right.
And you know, here's what happened. So after the Watts riots, Al Bell, who was then the president of Stax Records, he says, "Listen, I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you to give me your services. We want to put on an immaculate concert in Watts to calm the spirits down there. They've had riots." Thus formed the Watts Stax, the iconic Watts Stax concert, which went on to be an iconic film. We had no idea. Rewind a little bit. So we all said yes. Barcade said yes. Albert King said yes. Staples Singer said yes. Everybody said yes.
Yes.
It only cost $2 to get in. To this day, it's been the most people we've ever played for. Before it was 100,000 people in the stadium when we went on stage, and we stole the show, man.
Right. And give that year of 100,000
That was
people.
1972.
And 100,000 people are showing up in 72.
No violence, none.
Wow.
Not one incident. We never knew that the film, you know, because the filming of it was sort of, oh, by the way, just to make sure they caught the magic, but they never knew it was going to be such an iconic film.
Right.
Watch Stax it's just an amazing film, even today, with all the segues from Richard Pryor and all the back and forth they go through, showing the B-roll stuff that was there, you know, supporting the concert. It was just amazing. I've had an amazing career, man.
Absolutely. Let's show your new video. Well, it's the song. It'll be the song. It's called
Absolutely.
I'm Good. Let's show it.
I'm Good.
Let's listen to it.
the money, don't need the fame, don't need a million fans screaming my name. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for all that I have. But if I didn't have it or they took it away, I wouldn't stress it out, I'd be okay. Cause I got my baby, and she gives me everything I want and need. That's why I say, as long as I got you, I'm good.
I love it. I met your queen earlier, and I can see it all over. 50 years
Oh
of
my
just
God, yeah.
wow. And now this song. Let's talk about where this song is. Where did you come up with it, and just what it's about?
Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. I fell in love with the lyrics when I heard it. It was produced by Wiley Morris, written and produced by him, who was actually Charlie Wilson's producer. So if you hear a little bit of that Charlie Wilson
Yes.
flavor, and it's because the producers are the same. I fell in love with the lyric when I first heard it. Wiley called me and said, he said, what do you think about this? And I said, let's do it. I got to.
Yeah.
I got to. It expresses everything that I felt about my wife, first of all,
Right.
and it also spiritually, it touched another something,
Yes.
as long as I got you, I'm
Yes.
good. You know what I'm saying,
Right.
God Almighty? So it's got multiple purposes, and it turned out to be something that people gravitated to, and they too fell in love with it. So it took me top 30 Billboard. I'll take that for my first single.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's what I feel. The reason I put it on this one and wanted people to hear it now is because that's just listening to you, just talking to you, just knowing that you're just good. You're just good. You're happy.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that, Cam.
Yeah.
I do the best I can. Let me tell you something. If you're looking back here on the wall right
Yeah.
here,
Uh-huh.
so let me tell you what that is. So I had the honor of being given an honorary doctorate from Lemoyne College. I never knew anything about it. It was something that just happened. But my wife, during this same period, had decided to go back to college at 70 years old. And I said, are you sure you want to do that? And she said, yes. I said, it's going to be tough. So fast forward, she graduated from Southwest College cum laude on the same day that I was given my honorary doctorate from Lemoyne. So she got a chance to come to my graduation. I left out of mine and went to hers at Southwest and watched her march at the same time. And that's what you see
Wow.
up here. So
Absolutely.
I give, yeah. So I put her in the center of my office. I moved mine out the way, man. So I said, no, you queen, you get the center of my office.
Exactly.
So that's what you
Exactly.
see. Only in
Exactly.
America. I mean, it was the exact same day we both came, and we
Wow.
took pictures of us in our gowns in our room. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Let's go back. You had mentioned some of the iconic awards you guys have gotten as the Borcades. Let's go back to your lifetime achievements that you won.
We've got lifetime achievements from NARAS, Lifetime Achievement Awards from here in Memphis. I have about in my living room maybe 40 plaques
Yes.
and honorary things that we've been
Yes.
given. And as I said, we have. I was most honored to give two of our outfits to the Smithsonian, where they
Yes.
stay there now, and most recently to the new museum in Nashville, and of course the museum here in Memphis is
Mm-hmm.
Stax Records.
Mm-hmm.
It has just some of my earlier outfits and all of our
Right.
music. So that's something for those of you when you come to Memphis, Tennessee. Please go to Stax Records Museum. You got to. It's
Got
amazing.
to. You've got to.
Got to. Got to. Got
And the
to.
other thing is you can drive down your own street.
I can go 2 blocks away, go past Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then turn left on my street. It's
With
called Larry Dodson Senior Way. Absolutely right. While I'm living, Cam, because
while
I
you're
used to think
living.
while I'm living, why I used to think when I drive down streets that renamed that people, I said, wow, that guy they must have thought a lot of him because he's gone on now or she's gone on now to name the street after him. But I had that honor to, they surprised me with it,
Yes.
and it was amazing. My family knew, but they didn't tell me. They kept a big secret from me. And it was just amazing. One of the many amazing things that have happened in my life.
As we're looking through your career, it's so many, I'm sure. Let's just pick out a few of your favorites, some of your memorable moments. Let's just pick out a few of those. Something you just say, wow, I cannot believe it. It was so exciting. That's the memorable.
Okay, so let me think of, yeah, I got one. So when Stacks closed, this is a short story. When Stacks closed, our manager said, you guys got two options. You can break up or you can go find you someplace to play, stay together and write some songs. We did. We didn't break up. We went to play at this place called the Family Affair. We played there for a whole year for $75 a night. But we often had a saying, say, one day we're going to go from the Family Affair to Madison Square. And this one night, while later in life, we were playing at the Madison Square Garden. A Polygram Records stopped in the middle of the show, and they awarded us with our first gold record.
Wow.
In Madison Square Garden.
In Madison Square, where you said
in Madison Square Garden. So, praise God. I mean, what we had said just jokingly came true. That was, I'll never forget that moment. And probably another moment that when I decided to retire, my last performance was on the Tom Joyner cruise. And in the middle of that concert, Tom, Frankie Beverly from Frankie Beverly and Mays, and my entire band, they stopped the show and they gave me this big, elaborate cake, man, and a great send away. And I'll never forget that because, I got teary-eyed at that one. This is my last performance, Just memorable moments.
Yes, absolutely.
Just a few of them.
Just a few.
Yeah.
After 5 decades, you've got a lot of them.
After 5 decades, and one last one. So my mentor was Sly Stone. I never felt like I was going to be worthy of being around him. And we spent a whole month together in New York. He wrote with me. We co-wrote songs together, and he was a perfect gentleman. Showed up for work every day, and just to listen to him tell the stories of his career, I mean, I'm sitting with Sly Stone. I mean,
right,
dance to the music.
Yeah,
want to take it higher. That guy. I'll just never forget those moments. He was a perfect gentleman, iconic. We wrote together, and I thought I died and gone to heaven when
I could see it. Let's just talk about the fact COVID happened after the end of February, beginning of March, shut down everything, all touring, everything. But you continued to still work. You still wrote. You still were working on your craft. Why so?
Well, I told my son when I hadn't worked. The last time I was in front of an audience was February 15th of 20. We've done virtual concerts since then, that we did via TV and internet stuff. But I told my son, I said, you know what? This glass is not half empty. It's half full. Let's roll our sleeves up. And I have a studio here in my home, but I made some of the best music that I think was inside of me during COVID. We made some very good strides with our business. One thing people were doing, they were drinking a lot. So we're in the whiskey business. In the whiskey business. So that was a good business for us to be in. But, we touched on it earlier, Cam, the checks kept coming, from things that I had done, wise choices that I'd made, as a result of wise counsel that I had gotten over the years. And, I mean, life was good. I mean, at the risk and at the mercy of so many people losing their lives. And I'm not making light of COVID. COVID is as devastating now. It's getting to that point as it was. I looked at that map on TV, and it's just as red as it was this time last year.
Yeah.
So I'm taking my time. I go back on tour in the 28th of this month, starting in Mississippi, Houston, Dallas, here in Memphis, Tulsa, Oklahoma. But I'm being very careful, and my band is being very careful. We're doing as many outdoor things as we can because it's a little bit It's a little bit easier for us in the crowd. I'm not a fan of doing stuff, with people sitting next to each other. We ain't there yet. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I agree with
We
that.
have to be careful. I'm masked up. I'll be vaccinated, and on my radio show, that's one of the things I admonish people to do: get vaccinated. Get out, and I respect those who have other issues about it, but please protect yourself. And think about your kids. Think about those that are around you, man.
Yes,
And I'm at 70 years old. I feel like if I get it, if I do catch it, that I won't be sick,
absolutely.
and I won't endanger my family. I want to be with my wife 51 more years, man. And if I can.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Let's do this. We'll take a break on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Amazing things for you.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $369 a month, or the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for only $509 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
When you shop Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we will back with Mr. Larry Dodson. We were talking, Larry, about the fact of COVID and how. Oh, here we go. The book. Yes.
Oh, let me get it right. Oh,
There you go. The book.
Oh, there we
The
go.
book.
There we
The
go.
book. There you go. The book.
And the band plays on. Yep. This is my book, and I wrote it in real time. I didn't mean to bum rush you with it, but
That's okay. Good. The
yeah,
book.
there we go.
There you
Oh,
go.
and the band plays on. Yep.
There you go. I'm glad
That's
you
one of the
brought
best
out the
things.
book. Let's talk about the book
Yeah.
again. We were talking about COVID. We were talking about coming
Yeah.
out of COVID. But let's talk about some of the other chapters in the book and how you've talked about the fact you being in the band. You've talked about retiring from the band. 2, leaving the band and what that meant. Let's pick up right there and now to now and talk about till now.
So rewind to the top of 2017, and my wife and I had this big conversation, and she never got in my way of when I gave her and my partner of 55, 57 years, James Alexander, the original leader of the Barcades. I said, man, you know what? I think I want to give this up, And we weren't mad at each other. And in fact, we're still very good friends, and he and I own the band. But I gathered my wife and my son around. And I said, I think I've reached a point where I'm nervous. God has given us more days than I ever thought he would with my Down syndrome daughter, Precious.
Right.
Her name is Precious. I said, I want to stop now. I said, sweetie, we've been together now 47 years. I said, let's just go and We have good property here. You know, we got a really big house with all the cars we need. So let's just stop. You know,
Yeah.
let's just stop and take her around the world and have another honeymoon for the rest of these years in the fourth quarter of our life. And so I took 7 months. James and I took 7 months to find somebody to take my place. We planned it all out.
Right.
We planned it all out. It wasn't a big harsh breakup or anything. I mean, he didn't like it, you know. Of course, he didn't, you know. And as I would not like it if he would leave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been the cornerstone of the band, being the lead singer, the center of the stage for all these years. Only singer the band ever had.
Yes.
So it was a big move, and I knew it was gonna bother the band, Cam. I knew it was gonna be an ouch moment, but I had made my mind up. You know, I had bigger things on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took 7 months. We found a kid here in Memphis, man, who's done a great job. His name is Chris
Yes.
Johnson. He's done a really, really good job, and great voice, and not a better character would you find. And he's done
Right.
as good of a job as he could possibly do, and keeping the legacy of the Barcades
Right.
going.
Mm-hmm.
I just did not anticipate, Cam, that I was gonna get so tired of being alone, man. Yeah, as Al Green would say.
Right. Right.
I'm so tired of being alone. You know, my wife looked at me and she said, "Get up." You know,
Right.
this ain't gonna work. You know, I
Uh-huh.
see it in your eyes, and she was right. So I start secretly putting the band together,
Yes.
and then I made a big announcement to TV and the press that
Yes.
I was coming back. But prior to that, I was getting calls, man. What's wrong, Larry? What's wrong? What's the matter? Nothing's going on. I just want
Right.
to be alone, man.
Right.
You know,
Right.
just want to
Right.
leave me and my wife alone, you know.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And but they were so glad to hear when I decided to come back. And
Yes. Yes.
it has been the best. Life could not be better now.
Wow.
The Barcades are still well and good. I have a
Yes.
good career on my own, and I got calls from George. So on my birthday, my 70th birthday,
Yes.
I had a virtual birthday party.
Uh-huh.
They had 45 people to call me from all over the world, man, wishing me a happy. Man, I was so teary-eyed sitting in my room.
Yes, I know you were. I
It
know you
touched
were.
my heart to know that they even cared, man. George Clinton, his wife, called me saying happy birthday from his couch in Tallahassee, and
Yes.
just people all over the world call, man. That's what life is all about.
Yeah,
And it
it
let me
is.
know that I've done some things right in my career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we're closing out, what would you like to leave with the viewers?
You know, Cam, I want to leave with this thought. You know, uh, in these turbulent times, we want you to know, Uncle Larry wants you to know, you keep God first.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other things that your heart desires, they will come, man. They will
Mm-hmm.
come. And you know what? It's hard to get tripped up if you stay on your knees, okay?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
hard to get tripped up if you stay on your knees. I'll leave with that thought. Faith first, okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I first want to tell you from me to you, I'm a fan of the
I
Barcades.
appreciate that.
I thank you for everything you have given us for all 5 decades. Thank you for just the longevity, your consistency, your will to be able on a daily basis, including your family, to give what you all as entertainment to us. We thank you. I thank you and your wife for that opportunity, because many times, all of us that are in the audience, no matter what we had gone through that day, during the moments we're there, you have made it great. So thank you for that opportunity. Thank you for everything that you have done. We honor you, and we honor you on today. We just want you to know it was not in vain.
Thank you so much, Kim. I received that, and I
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah,
And remember, my new album is coming. It's called Yours Truly, Larry D.
yes.
My new single is called Just We, and it features a new artist that we're going to have. I ain't going to tell you, but you're going to have to get it. But it'll be out in 2 or 3 weeks. It's called Just We.
Uh-huh.
And I would just say, some of the storyline says, we've come so far
Yeah.
from where we used to be. No longer is it you and I. Now it's just we.
Sounds good. Where do we get
Ah,
the book? Where do we get the music? Where do we get buy? Where do we purchase?
go to go to www.thelarrydotson.com and you'll find out how to get the book. Your book is on any place that you get your books, Amazon, all those good places, as well as whatever platform you get your music on. Go there and get my music, my old music, my new music, and find out my touring schedule when I'll
Yes.
be in your town soon. And www.thelarrydotson.com. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter on The Real Larry Dotson.
Sounds
Okay?
good. We'll see. I'll get to see you in person. You'll be here in Houston soon. We'll see
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. I'll be there on
Yes.
September 5th. September 5th.
Sounds good. We'll see you then. Take care.
You've been,
Thank you. Thank
you,
you. Thank you.
thank you. You've been delightful, man.
Thank you so much. The Cam Hill Show,
All right.
12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.